subject of a separate recommendation. 31st Punjab Infantry. Major M.I. Gibbs, who commanded the regiment in the absence of Major O'Brien, with skill and in every way to my satisfaction. Lieutenant H.B. Ford, acting adjutant, 31st Punjab Infantry, rendered valuable assistance in helping to bring in a wounded sepoy during the withdrawal from North Camp. He also behaved with courage in resisting an attack of the enemy on the night of the 28th, when he was severely wounded. Surgeon Lieutenant J. H. Hugo, attached to 31st Punjab Infantry, rendered valuable service on the night of the 28th in saving Lieutenant H. B. Ford from bleeding to death. Lieutenant Ford was wounded and a branch of an artery was cut. There were no means of securing the artery, and Surgeon Lieutenant Hugo for 2 hours stopped the bleeding by compressing the artery with his fingers. Had he not had the strength to do so, Lieutenant Ford must have died. Early in the morning, thinking that the enemy had effected an entrance into camp, Surgeon Lieutenant Hugo picked up Lieutenant Ford with one arm, and, still holding the artery with the fingers of the other hand, carried him to a place of safety. 45th, Ratrays, Sikhs. Colonel H. A. Sawyer was away on leave when hostilities broke out, but he returned on the 29th and took over command of the regiment from Lieutenant Colonel McCrae, and from that time rendered me every assistance. I would specially bring to the notice of His Excellency the Commander-in-Chief the name of Lieutenant Colonel H. N. McCrae, who commanded the regiment on the 26th, 27th and 28th. His prompt action in seizing the gorge at the top of the Buddhist road on the night of the 26th, and the gallant way in which he held it, undoubtedly saved the camp from being rushed on that side. For this, and for the able way in which he commanded the regiment during the first 3 days of the fighting, I would commend him to His Excellency's favourable consideration. Also Lieutenant R. M. Bath, officiating adjutant of the regiment, who, Lieutenant Colonel McCrae reports, behaved with great courage and rendered him valuable assistance. The Guides. I also wish to bring the name of Lieutenant Colonel R. B. Adams of the Guides to His Excellency's notice. The prompt way in which the corps mobilized, and their grand march, reflect great credit on him and the corps. Since arrival at the Malakand on the 27th of July until the morning of the 1st of August, Lieutenant Colonel Adams was in command of the lower camp, i.e., that occupied by central and left position, and in the execution of this command, and the arrangements he made for improving the defenses, he gave me every satisfaction. I have also to express my appreciation of the way in which he conducted the cavalry reconnaissance on the 1st of August, on which occasion his horse was shot under him. Great credit is due to Lieutenant P. C. Elliot Lockhart, who was in command of the Guides Infantry, for bringing up the regiment from Marden to Malakand in such good condition after their trying march. Captain G. M. Baldwin, DSO, behaved with great courage and coolness during the reconnaissance of the 1st of August, and though severely wounded by a sword cut on the head, he remained on the ground and continued to lead his men. Lieutenant H. L. S. McLean also behaved with courage, and displayed an excellent example on the night of the 28th of July, when he was severely wounded. 11th Bengal Lancers. Major S. Beatson commanded the squadron, 11th Bengal Lancers, which arrived at Malakand on the 29th, and led them with great skill and dash on the occasion of the reconnaissance on the 1st of August. No. 8 Bengal Mountain Battery. Lieutenant F. A. Winter was the only officer with No. 8 Bengal Mountain Battery from the 26th till the 30th of July, and he commanded it during that time, when all the severest of the fighting was going on, with great ability, and has proved himself a good soldier. I should like especially to mention him for his Excellency's consideration. The battery did excellent work all through. No. 5 Company Queen's Own Madras Sappers and Miners. Lieutenant A. R. Winslow, R.E., commanded the company from the 27th of July till the 1st of August to my entire satisfaction. His services in strengthening the defences were invaluable. Lieutenant F. W. Watling, R.E., was in command of the company in the absence of Captain Johnson on the 26th, and commanded it well until he was wounded in gallantly trying to resist a charge of the enemy. After Lieutenant Watling was wounded, the command of the company for the remainder of the night of the 26th, until Lieutenant Winslow returned on the 27th, devolved on Lieutenant E. N. Manley, R.E. He performed his duties with great credit, and afterwards was of great assistance, by his zeal and his exertions, to Lieutenant Winslow. Medical Staff. Brigade Surgeon Lieutenant Colonel F. A. Smith was most zealous, and performed his duties to my satisfaction. He volunteered to perform the duties of Provost Marshal, and did so for a short time during the illness of Lieutenant H. E. Cotterill. The arrangements made by Surgeon Major S. Hassand, Senior Medical Officer, 38th Native Field Hospital, and the indefatigable attention and care with which he devoted himself to the wounded, deserve great praise. The list of casualties is large, and Surgeon Major Hassand has been untiring in his exertions for their relief. I hope His Excellency will think fit to consider his services favorably. Surgeon Captain T. A. O. Langston, 38th Native Field Hospital, rendered valuable assistance in attending to the wounded under a heavy fire on the night of the 26th and each following night, and behaved with courage and devotion in carrying out his duties under very exceptional circumstances. Surgeon Lieutenant W. Carr has worked night and day in the hospitals, in trying to alleviate the sufferings of the wounded, and has most ably and efficiently aided Surgeon Major Hassand. Brigade Staff. Major L. Herbert, my Deputy Assistant Adjutant and Quartermaster General, was of the greatest assistance to me by the zeal and energy with which he performed his duties from the moment the news of the approach of the enemy was received till he was severely wounded while standing next to me in the enclosure of the sappers and miners' camp on the night of the 26th. Since being wounded, he has carried on all his office duties on his bed. I would wish to commend his gallant conduct for the favorable consideration of the Commander-in-Chief. Although Major H. A. Dean is in no way under my authority, I feel I am under a great obligation to him for the valuable assistance he rendered me with his advice and for volunteering to put himself at my disposal with the object of carrying on the active duties of Deputy Assistant Adjutant General, when Major Herbert was wounded. He was indefatigable in assisting me in every way he could, and I am anxious to put on record my grateful appreciation of the services he rendered me. 44. The above list of names may appear to be somewhat long, but I would point out that the fighting was almost constant for a week, and was of such a close nature as to demand incessant exertion from every officer in the force, and to elicit constant acts of courage and gallant example which cannot be overlooked. 45. I would not like to close this dispatch without paying a tribute to the memory of a fine soldier and charming companion whose death the whole force deplores. Major W. W. Taylor had behaved with the greatest gallantry and dash in meeting the enemy's first charge with Lieutenant Colonel McCrae, and, had he lived, he would undoubtedly distinguished himself in his career. His loss is a heavy one to his regiment, and to the service, and there is no one in the brigade who does not mourn him as a friend. I have also to deplore the death of Honorary Lieutenant L. Manley, who as my commissariat officer had rendered me great assistance, and who died fighting manfully. His loss is a very serious one to the brigade. 46. I attach separately, for favorable consideration, a list of native officers, non-commissioned officers and men, who have done especially good service, some of whom I have therein recommended for the Order of Merit. I trust these recommendations will meet with the favorable consideration of His Excellency the Commander-in-Chief. The relief of Chakdara to Nd August, 1897 from the dispatch of Major General Sir Bindon Blood, KCB 19. I have the honor to invite the special attention of His Excellency the Commander-in-Chief in India to the good services of the following officers during the operations described above, namely, Brigadier General W. H. Maclejohn, C.B., C.M.G., carried out his duties in command of the force which relieved Chakdara Fort with great gallantry and judgment. Colonel A.J.F. Reed, officiating colonel on the staff, Malakand Brigade, afforded me valuable assistance by carrying out the rearrangement of the defensive posts at the Malakand on the 1st of August, after the relieving force had been drawn from them, and in making the preparations for Colonel T.H. Goldney's attack on the 2nd. Colonel T.H. Goldney, 35th Sikhs, disposed and led the troops on the morning of the 2nd in the successful attack on the hill, since named after him, in a most judicious and satisfactory manner. Major E.A.P. Hobdy, I.A., was most energetic and indefatigable in assisting Colonel A.J.F. Reed and me in carrying out the multifarious work which had to be done at the Malakand, and in the Swat Valley on the 1st, 2nd and 3rd. Brigadier General Maclejohn reports favorably on the following officers who were under his command during the operations above detailed, viz. Captain G.F.H. Dillon, 40th Pathans, who acted as staff officer to the relieving force, showed great readiness and resource, and his assistance was of the utmost value. Lieutenants C.R. Gaunt, 4th Dragoon Guards, orderly officer, and E. Christian, Royal Scots Fusiliers, signalling officer, carried out their duties most satisfactorily. Lt. Colonel R.B. Adams, Queen's Own Corps of Guides, commanded the cavalry, 4 squadrons, with the relieving force in the most gallant and judicious manner. The following officers commanding units and detachments of the relieving force are stated by Brigadier General Malakand to have carried out their duties in a thoroughly capable and satisfactory manner, viz. Colonel H. A. Sawyer, 45th Sikhs. Major Stuart Beatson, 11th Bengal Lancers. Captain A. H. C. Birch, R.A., 8th Bengal Mountain Battery. Lieutenant G. D. H. Smith, 2nd Regiment, Central India Horse, attached to Queen's Own Corps of Guides, Cavalry. Lieutenant A. R. Winslow, R.E., No. 5 Company Queen's Own Sappers and Miners. Lieutenant P. C. Elliot Lockhart, Queen's Own Corps of Guides, Infantry. Surgeon General H. F. Whitchurch, V.C., attended to the wounded under fire throughout the fighting. The following officers under Colonel T. H. Goldney's command led their detachments under my own observation with gallantry and judgment, viz. Lt. Colonel L. J. E. Bradshaw, 35th Sikhs. Captain L. C. H. Stainforth, 38th Dogras. Jemada Nawab, who commanded 2 guns of No. 8 Bengal Mountain Battery in support of Colonel Goldney's attack, attracted my favourable notice by his smartness, quickness and thorough knowledge of his work. I would also wish to bring to His Excellency's notice the good work done by Major H. Burney, Gordon Highlanders, Assistant Adjutant General, Major H. Burney, Gordon Highlanders, Assistant Adjutant General, Major H. Hwari, DSO, Chief Commissariat Officer, and Captain A. B. Dunsterville, 1st Battalion East Surrey Regiment, my aide-de-camp, the only officers of the divisional staff of my force who had arrived at the Malakand on the 2nd of August. These officers worked very hard and were of great use to me. 20 Major H. A. Dean, CSI, political agent, DIR and SWAT, was not in any way under my orders during the operations above described, but notwithstanding, I hope I may be permitted to express the obligations under which I lie to him for valuable information and general assistance which he gave me. The Defense of Chakdara. 26th July, 2 ND August, 1897. From the dispatch of Major General Sir Bindon Blood, KCB 15. During the fighting above described, the conduct of the whole of the garrison, whether fighting men, departmental details, or followers, is reported to have been most gallant. Not the least marked display of courage and constancy was that made by the small detachment in the signal tower, who were without water for the last 18 hours of the siege. The signallers, under number 2729, Lance Naikva Singh, 45th Sikhs, who set a brilliant example, behaved throughout in a most courageous manner. One of them, number 2829, Sepoy Prem Singh, climbing several times out of a window in the tower with a heliograph, and signalling outside to the Malakand under a hot fire from Sungas in every direction. 16. I would beg to recommend all the British and native officers who took part in the defence I have described for the favourable consideration of His Excellency the Commander-in-Chief as under, viz. Captain H. Wright, 11th Bengal Lancers, who, with his detachment of 40 sabres of his regiment, made the gallant ride through the enemy from the Malakand to Chakdara Fort, on the morning of the 27th of July, and commanded the garrison from that morning till its relief on the 2nd of August. Captain D. Baker, 2nd Bombay Infantry, who rode to Chakdara Fort with Captain Wright, and made himself most useful. Lieutenant H. B. Rattray, 45th Sikhs, who commanded the garrison from the commencement of the attack on the 26th of July till the arrival of Captain Wright the next day, and is reported by that officer to have been the life and soul of the defence. 2nd Lieutenant J. L. Wheatley, 45th Sikhs, had charge of the gun and Maxim detachments, and it was largely owing to his care and judgment that these weapons were so effective in the defence. Lieutenant A. B. Minchin, 25th Punjab Infantry, assistant political agent, was in the fort throughout the siege, and was most useful. Reseda Tilak Singh, 11th Bengal Lancers, accompanied Captain Wright in his ride of the 27th of July, and is very favourably mentioned by that officer. Jemadar Sudamar commanded the detachment of the 21st Bengal Lancers who were at Chakdara Fort on the 26th of July, and was present throughout the siege, and is also very favourably reported on. Subedar Jwala Singh, 45th Sikhs, was present throughout the siege, and showed great intelligence and readiness of resource, as well as courage and coolness, under fire. Jemadar Ala Singh, 45th Sikhs, had command of the sections on the parapet of the river fort, and showed conspicuous courage and coolness under heavy fire. Lieutenant Rattray reports that No. 522 Hospital Assistant Pyara Singh, 11th Bengal Lancers, rendered valuable assistance, not only in the sortie on the 2nd, and at other times in bringing up ammunition, etc., to the men on the parapets under fire. 17. I shall further have the honour, in a separate communication, to submit, for the favourable consideration of His Excellency the Commander-in-Chief, the names of several non-commissioned officers and men who distinguished themselves during the siege of Chakdara Fort, in view of their being granted the Order of Merit, should His Excellency think them deserving of that distinction. From Major General Sir B. Blood, KCB, commanding the Malakand Field Force, to the Adjutant General in India, No. 5, Dispatches, Malakand Field Force, dated the 27th of October, 1897. I regret to find that in my report, Dispatches, Malakand Field Force No. 3, of the 20th of August, 1897, I omitted to include the name of Surgeon Captain E.V. Hugo, Indian Medical Service, amongst those of the officers recommended to the favourable consideration of His Excellency the Commander-in-Chief for their services during the recent defence of Chakdara Fort. I now have great pleasure in stating that Surgeon General Hugo served with distinction throughout the defence in question, and in recommending him for favourable consideration accordingly. Action of Landarkai and expedition into Upper Swat. August, 1987. From the dispatches of Major General Sir Bindon Blood, KCB 32. In concluding this part of my report, I would wish to express my admiration of the fine soldierly qualities exhibited by all ranks of the special force which I led into Upper Swat. They fought the action at Landarkai in a brilliant manner, working over high hills, under a burning sun, with the greatest alacrity, and showing everywhere the greatest keenness to close with the enemy. They carried out admirably the trying duties necessitated by marching in hot weather with a transport train of more than 2,000 mules, and they endured with perfect cheerfulness the discomforts of several nights' bivouac in heavy rain. The officers of the divisional staff and of my personal staff who were with me, Major H. Burney, Assistant Adjutant General, Gordon Highlanders, Lieutenant Colonel Masters, Assistant Quartermaster General, 2nd Regiment Central India Horse, Captain H. E. Stanton, Deputy Assistant Quartermaster General, Intelligence Branch, Royal Artillery, Colonel W. Aitken, Colonel on the Staff, Royal Artillery, Captain H. D. Grier, Adjutant, I. Major E. Blunt, Senior Officer of Royal Engineers, Captain E. W. M. Norrie, Superintendent, Army Signalling, Middlesex Regiment, Captain C. G. F. Edwards, Provost Marshal, 5th Punjab Cavalry, Captain A. B. Dunsterville, ADC, 1st Battalion East Surrey Regiment, Captain A. R. Dick, Orderly Officer. Brigade Staff. Major E. A. P. Hobdy, Deputy Assistant Adjutant General, Royal Artillery, Captain G. F. H. Dillon, Deputy Assistant Quartermaster General, 40th Bengal Infantry, Captain C. H. Bevel, Commissariat Transport Department, Captain J. M. Camilleri, in charge of transport, 13th Bengal Infantry, Surgeon Lieutenant Colonel J. T. B. Bookie, IMS, Lieutenant C. R. Gaunt, Orderly Officer, 4th Dragoon Guards. Commanding Officers of Divisional Troops. Lieutenant Colonel R. B. Adams, Queen's Own Corps of Guides, Major C. A. Anderson, 10th Field Battery, Royal Artillery, Major M. F. Fegan, No. 7 Mountain Battery, Royal Artillery, Captain A. H. C. Birch, No. 8 Bengal Mountain Battery, Captain E. P. Johnson, No. 5 Company Queen's Own Sappers and Miners. Brigadier General W. H. Mackler-John, C.B., CMG, and his staff, and the several heads of departments and commanding officers of divisional troops, all carried out their duties in an entirely satisfactory manner. Major H. A. Dean, political agent, and his assistant, Lieutenant A. B. Minchin, gave valuable assistance in collecting intelligence and supplies. 33 While the operations above described were in progress, a diversion was made towards the southern border of the Bunner country from Marden by the 1st Reserve Brigade, which, on its headquarters leaving Marden, came under my command as the 3rd Brigade, Malakand Field Force. 34 A force, 1st Battalion Highland Light Infantry, under Lieutenant Colonel R. D. B. Rutherford, 39th Garhwal Rifles, under Lieutenant Colonel B. C. Greaves, No. 3 Company Bombay Sappers and Miners, under Captain C. E. Badilay, R.E., 1 Squadron 10th Bengal Lancers, under Captain W. L. Maxwell, 2 guns No. 1 Mountain Battery, Royal Artillery, under Lieutenant H. L. N. Bainan, R.A., under Brigadier General J. Wodehouse, C.B., CMG, was concentrated on the 17th of August at Rustum, 18 miles northeast of Mardan, and about 4 miles from the Bunna border, with the object of acting as a containing force, and so preventing the sections of the Bunawals who had not already committed themselves against us from joining in opposition to our advance into Upper Swat. 35 The presence of this force had the desired effect, and Brigadier General Wodehouse and his staff made good use of the time they spent at Rustum in acquiring valuable information about several of the passes in the neighborhood. 36 Brigadier General Wodehouse states that throughout the operations of his force, which involved considerable fatigue and exposure to heat and rain, the spirit of his troops left nothing to be desired. He makes special mention of the work of No. 3 Company Bombay Sappers and Miners, under Captain C. E. Baddeley, R.E. He also reports very favorably on the assistance given him by Lieutenant C. P. Down, Assistant Commissioner, and has expressed to me a high opinion of that officer's abilities and acquirements, particularly of his proficiency in the local vernacular. The action of 16th September. From Sir Bindon Blood's dispatch containing the summary of Brigadier General Jeffreys' report of the action 27. The behavior of the troops throughout this trying day was very good. The steadiness and discipline shown by the 1st Battalion of the Buffs, under Lieu Colonel Onany, were admirable, while Brigadier General Jeffreys has specially commended the gallantry with which the Guides Infantry, under Major Campbell, brought off Captain Ryder's detachment of the 35th Sikhs, carrying the wounded on their backs under a heavy fire. He has further strongly endorsed Major Campbell's favourable mention of the courage and judgment shown by Captain G. B. Hodson, and Lieutenant H. W. Codrington, of the Guides, who commanded the companies of the battalion which were chiefly in contact with the enemy, the gallantry of Surgeon Captain J. Fisher, Indian Medical Service, who made a most determined, though unsuccessful, attempt to take medical aid to the wounded of Captain Ryder's detachment through a hot fire, of Surgeon Lieutenant E. L. Perry, Indian Medical Service, of Jemadar Sikandar Khan of the Guides, and of several non-commissioned officers and sepoys of the same corps, regarding whom I have had the honor to make a separate communication. 28 Brigadier General Jeffreys has also described in very favorable terms the gallant and valuable work done on this day by Captain Cole and his squadron of the 11th Bengal Lancers. He has commended the conduct of Captain W. I. Ryder and Lieutenant O. G. Gunning, 35th Sikhs, who were both wounded, and of Jemadar Ram Singh, Harvilder Ram Singh and Sepoy Karam Singh. This man's case has formed the subject of a separate communication. Of the same regiment. He has also brought to notice a gallant act of Captain A. H. C. Birch, R.A., commanding No. 8 Bengal Mountain Battery, and his trumpeter, Chouan, in rescuing a wounded sepoy of the 35th Sikhs, as well as the distinguished gallantry of Jemadars Nawab and Ishar Singh and several non-commissioned officers and men of the same battery, in regard to which I have made separate communications to you. 29 Brigadier General Jeffreys further refers in the strongest terms of commendation to the gallant conduct of Lieutenants T.C. Watson, twice wounded in attempting to clear the village, and J.M.C. Colvin, R.E., and of the handful of men of the Buffs and No. 4 Company Bengal sappers and miners, who spent the night of the 16th to 17th with him in the village of Billet. The conduct of these officers and men, of whom 6 were killed and 18 wounded on this occasion, out of a total of 54, in entering the village several times in the dark in face of a heavy fire directed upon them at close quarters, seems deserving of the highest recognition, and I have consequently made a special communication to you on the subject. Brigadier General Jeffreys has also commended the gallant conduct of his Deputy Assistant Adjutant General. The remainder of Brigadier General Jeffreys' staff was with the main body when it got separated from them. Major E.O.F. Hamilton, 1st Battalion, the Queen's Royal West Surrey Regiment, and finally, he has praised the courage and resolution of Lieutenant W.L.S. Churchill, 4th Hussars, the correspondent of the Pioneer newspaper with the force, who made himself useful at a critical moment. Operations of the Malakand Field Force from the concluding dispatch of Major General Sir Bindon Blood, KCB 58. The commissariat arrangements under Major H. Harry, DSO, were most successful. The rations were always abundant, and of uniformly good quality, and I may here observe that in 5 previous campaigns I have never seen the supply of bread anything like so continuously good, as it has been throughout the operations of the Malakand Field Force. No doubt the excellence of the commissariat arrangements has had a great deal to do with the good state of health of the troops, which I have remarked upon. 59 The transport was most efficient throughout the operations under reference, and its management, under the direction of Captain C.G.R. Thackwell, Divisional Transport Officer, who was most ably and energetically assisted by Veterinary Captain H.T.W. Mann, Senior Veterinary Officer, was most successful. In proof of this I will cite a report just made to me by Brigadier General Jeffreys, commanding the 2nd Brigade of my force, that this morning, on inspecting 1,265 mules attached his brigade, which have just returned from 7 weeks in the field, he found 14 sore backs, and 4 animals otherwise unfit for work, or a total of only 18 disabled animals in all. 60 The medical service was carried out in a very satisfactory manner. Some difficulties arose on the transfer of officers and material to the Tirah Expeditionary Force on its formation, especially as large convoys of sick and wounded were on the line of this force at the time. But these difficulties were successfully overcome by Colonel A.J.F. Reed, commanding the Malakand Brigade, who was in charge of the line, and matters were ultimately restored to smooth working on the arrival of Surgeon Colonel J.C.G. Carmichael, Indian Medical Service, who is now Principal Medical Officer of the force. 61 The telegraph arrangements were well carried out by Lieutenant W. Robertson, R.E., under the direction of Mr. C. E. Pittman, C.I.E. The postal service under Mr. H. C. Sheridan was also satisfactory. 62. The working of the several departments of the headquarters staff was most satisfactory and successful. The heads of departments were Major H. H. Birney, Gordon Highlanders, Assistant Adjutant General. Lieutenant Colonel A. Masters, 2nd Regiment Central India Horse, Assistant Quartermaster General. Captain H. E. Stanton, DSO, I.A., Deputy Assistant Quartermaster General, Intelligence. Captain E. W. M. Norrie, Middlesex Regiment, Superintendent, Army Signalling. Surgeon Colonel J. C. G. Carmichael, Indian Medical Service, Principal Medical Officer. Lieutenant Colonel W. Aitken, C.B., I.A., Commanding Royal Artillery. Colonel J. E. Broadbent, R.E., Commanding Royal Engineers, relieved early in October by Lieutenant Colonel W. Peacock, CMG, R.E. Captain W. E. Banbury, 25th Madras Infantry, Field Treasure Chest Officer. Captain W. W. Cookson, R.A., Ordnance Officer. Major H. Harry, DSO, Staff Corps, Chief Commissariat Officer. Veterinary Captain H. T. W. Mann, wounded in action, the 20th of September, 1897. Army Veterinary Department, Senior Veterinary Officer. Captain C. L. Robertson, R.E., Survey Officer. Captain C. G. F. Edwards, 5th Punjab Cavalry, Provost Marshal. The Reverend L. Clough, Chaplain. Lieutenant W. Robertson, R.E., in charge of telegraphs. 63. I am under great obligations to my personal staff, Captain A. B. Dunsterville, 1st Battalion East Surrey Regiment, Aide-de-camp, Captain A. R. Dick, 2nd Punjab Cavalry, and Lieutenant Viscount Fincastle, 16th, the Queen's Lancers. 64. It will have been gathered from the foregoing narrative that the 3 brigades of the force were ably commanded by Brigadier Generals W. H. Mackler John, C.B., CMG, 1st Brigade, P.D. Jeffreys, wounded in action, the 16th of September, 1897. C.B., 2nd Brigade, and J. H. Wodehouse, C.B., CMG, wounded in action, the 20th of September, 1897. 3rd Brigade, who were efficiently seconded by their staffs. The line of communications and the base were also most efficiently managed by Colonel A. J. F. Reed, commanding the Malakand Brigade, and by Lieutenant Colonel A. V. Scotch, 11th Bengal Infantry, the base commandant, and their respective staffs. 65. In my final report on the conclusion of the operations of the force, I shall have the honor to bring the services of the officers above briefly referred to more fully to the notice of His Excellency the Commander-in-Chief. 66. Major H. A. Dean, CSI, Political Agent, Geo, Chitral and SWAT, was in separate and independent charge of the political arrangements connected with the operations I have described, as far as Nawagai. He accompanied my headquarters to Gosam, where I left him on the 12th of September, and rejoined me at Inayat Killa on the 4th of October. He gave much assistance in arranging for the collection of local supplies. 67. Mr. W. S. Davis was my political officer throughout the operations beyond Nawagai, and in the Malakand Valley prior to Major Dean's return to my headquarters on the 4th of October. He carried out his duties to my complete satisfaction. His native assistant, Khan Bahadur Ibrahim Kam, also made himself very useful. End of text. Asterisk 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 End of the Project Gutenberg ebook The Story of the Malakand Field Force, an episode of Frontier War asterisk 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 Updated editions will replace the previous one, the old editions will be renamed. Creating the works from print editions not protected by U.S. copyright law means that no one owns a United States copyright in these works, so the Foundation, and you, can copy and distribute it in the United States without permission and without paying copyright royalties. Special rules, set forth in the general terms of use part of this license, apply to copying and distributing Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic works to protect the Project Gutenberg trademark symbol concept and trademark. Project Gutenberg is a registered trademark, and may not be used if you charge for an ebook, except by following the terms of the trademark license, including paying royalties for use of the Project Gutenberg trademark. If you do not charge anything for copies of this ebook, complying with the trademark license is very easy. You may use this ebook for nearly any purpose such as creation of derivative works, reports, performances and research. Project Gutenberg ebooks may be modified and printed and given away. You may do practically anything in the United States with ebooks not protected by U.S. copyright law. Redistribution is subject to the trademark license, especially commercial redistribution. Start. Full license. The full Project Gutenberg license. Please read this before you distribute or use this work to protect the Project Gutenberg trademark symbol mission of promoting the free distribution of electronic works, by using or distributing this work, or any other work associated in any way with the phrase Project Gutenberg. You agree to comply with all the terms of the full Project Gutenberg trademark symbol license available with this file or online at www.gutenberg.org/license. Section 1. General Terms of Use and Redistributing Project Gutenberg Trademark Symbol Electronic Works 1.0. By reading or using any part of this Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic work, you indicate that you have read, understand, agree to and accept all the terms of this license and intellectual property, trademark/copyright, agreement. If you do not agree to abide by all the terms of this agreement, you must cease using and return or destroy all copies of Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic works in your possession. If you paid a fee for obtaining a copy of or access to a Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic work and you do not agree to be bound by the terms of this agreement, you may obtain a refund from the person or entity to whom you paid the fee as set forth in paragraph 1.e.8. 1.b Project Gutenberg is a registered trademark. It may only be used on or associated in any way with an electronic work by people who agree to be bound by the terms of this agreement. There are a few things that you can do with most Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic works even without complying with the full terms of this agreement. See paragraph 1.c below. There are a lot of things you can do with Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic works if you follow the terms of this agreement and help preserve free future access to Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic works. See paragraph 1.e below. 1.c. The Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation, the Foundation or PGLAF, owns a compilation copyright in the collection of Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic works. Nearly all the individual works in the collection are in the public domain in the United States. If an individual work is unprotected by copyright law in the United States and you are located in the United States, we do not claim a right to prevent you from copying, distributing, performing, displaying or creating derivative works based on the work as long as all references to Project Gutenberg are removed. Of course, we hope that you will support the Project Gutenberg trademark symbol mission of promoting free access to electronic works by freely sharing Project Gutenberg trademark symbol works in compliance with the terms of this agreement for keeping the Project Gutenberg trademark symbol name associated with the work. You can easily comply with the terms of this agreement by keeping this work in the same format with its attached full Project Gutenberg trademark symbol license when you share it without charge with others. 1.d. The copyright laws of the place where you are located also govern what you can do with this work. Copyright laws in most countries are in a constant state of change. If you are outside the United States, check the laws of your country in addition to the terms of this agreement before downloading, copying, displaying, performing, distributing or creating derivative works based on this work or any other Project Gutenberg trademark symbol work. The Foundation makes no representations concerning the copyright status of any work in any country other than the United States. 1.e. Unless you have removed all references to Project Gutenberg. 1.e.1. The following sentence, with active links to, or other immediate access to, the full Project Gutenberg trademark symbol license must appear prominently whenever any copy of a Project Gutenberg trademark symbol work, any work on which the phrase Project Gutenberg appears, or with which the phrase Project Gutenberg is associated, is accessed, displayed, performed, viewed, copied or distributed. This ebook is for the use of anyone anywhere in the United States and most other parts of the world at no cost and with almost no restrictions whatsoever. You may copy it, give it away or reuse it under the terms of the Project Gutenberg license included with this ebook or online at www.gutenberg.org. If you are not located in the United States, you will have to check the laws of the country where you are located before using this ebook. 1.e.2. If an individual Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic work is derived from texts not protected by U.S. copyright law, does not contain a notice indicating that it is posted with permission of the copyright holder, the work can be copied and distributed to anyone in the United States without paying any fees or charges. If you are redistributing or providing access to a work with the phrase Project Gutenberg associated with or appearing on the work, you must comply either with the requirements of paragraphs 1.e.1 through 1.e.7 or obtain permission for the use of the work and the Project Gutenberg trademark symbol trademark as set forth in paragraphs 1.e.8 or 1.e.9. 1.e.3. If an individual Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic work is posted with the permission of the copyright holder, your use and distribution must comply with both paragraphs 1.e.1 through 1.e.7 and any additional terms imposed by the copyright holder. Additional terms will be linked to the Project Gutenberg trademark symbol license for all works posted with the permission of the copyright holder found at the beginning of this work. 1.e.4. Do not unlink or detach or remove the full Project Gutenberg trademark symbol license terms from this work, or any files containing a part of this work or any other work associated with Project Gutenberg trademark symbol. 1.e.5. Do not copy, display, perform, distribute or redistribute this electronic work, or any part of this electronic work, without prominently displaying the sentence set forth in paragraph 1.e.1 with active links or immediate access to the full terms of the Project Gutenberg trademark symbol license. 1.e.6. You may convert to and distribute this work in any binary, compressed, marked up, non-proprietary or proprietary form, including any word processing or hypertext form. However, if you provide access to or distribute copies of a Project Gutenberg trademark symbol work in a format other than plain vanilla ASCII or other format used in the official version posted on the official Project Gutenberg trademark symbol website, www.gutenberg.org, you must, at no additional cost, fee or expense to the user, provide a copy, a means of exporting a copy, or a means of obtaining a copy upon request, of the work in its original plain vanilla ASCII or other form. Any alternate format must include the full Project Gutenberg trademark symbol license as specified in paragraph 1.e.1. 1.e.7. Do not charge a fee for access to, viewing, displaying, performing, copying or distributing any Project Gutenberg trademark symbol works unless you comply with paragraph 1.e.8 or 1.e.9. 1.e.8. You may charge a reasonable fee for copies of or providing access to or distributing Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic works provided that you pay a royalty fee of 20% of the gross profits you derive from the use of Project Gutenberg trademark symbol works calculated using the method you already use to calculate your applicable taxes. The fee is owed to the owner of the Project Gutenberg trademark symbol trademark, but he has agreed to donate royalties under this paragraph to the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation. Royalty payments must be paid within 60 days following each date on which you prepare, or are legally required to prepare, your periodic tax returns. Royalty payments should be clearly marked as such and sent to the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation at the address specified in Section 4. Information about donations to the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation. You provide a full refund of any money paid by a user who notifies you in writing, or by email, within 30 days of receipt that he does not agree to the terms of the full Project Gutenberg trademark symbol license. You must require such a user to return or destroy all copies of the works possessed in a physical medium and discontinue all use of and all access to other copies of Project Gutenberg trademark symbol works. You provide, in accordance with paragraph 1.f.3, a full refund of any money paid for a work or a replacement copy, if a defect in the electronic work is discovered and reported to you within 90 days of receipt of the work. You comply with all other terms of this agreement for free distribution of Project Gutenberg trademark symbol works. 1.e.9. If you wish to charge a fee or distribute a Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic work or group of works on different terms than are set forth in this agreement, you must obtain permission in writing from the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation, the manager of the Project Gutenberg trademark symbol trademark. Contact the Foundation as set forth in Section 3 below. 1.f1.f.1. Project Gutenberg volunteers and employees expend considerable effort to identify, do copyright research on, transcribe and proofread works not protected by U.S. copyright law in creating the Project Gutenberg trademark symbol collection. Despite these efforts, Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic works, and the medium on which they may be stored, may contain defects such as, but not limited to, incomplete, inaccurate or corrupt data, transcription errors, a copyright or other intellectual property infringement, a defective or damaged disk or other medium, a computer virus, or computer codes that damage or cannot be read by your equipment. 1.f.2. Limited warranty, disclaimer of damages, except for the right of replacement or refund described in paragraph 1.f.3, the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation, the owner of the Project Gutenberg trademark symbol trademark, and any other party distributing a Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic work under this agreement, disclaim all liability to you for damages, costs and expenses, including legal fees. You agree that you have no remedies for negligence, strict liability, breach of warranty or breach of contract except those provided in paragraph 1.f.3. You agree that the Foundation, the trademark owner, and any distributor under this agreement will not be liable to you for actual, direct, indirect, consequential, punitive or incidental damages even if you give notice of the possibility of such damage. 1.f.3. Limited right of replacement or refund. If you discover a defect in this electronic work within 90 days of receiving it, you can receive a refund of the money, if any, you paid for it by sending a written explanation to the person you received the work from. If you received the work on a physical medium, you must return the medium with your written explanation. The person or entity that provided you with the defective work may elect to provide a replacement copy in lieu of a refund. If you received the work electronically, the person or entity providing it to you may choose to give you a second opportunity to receive the work electronically in lieu of a refund. If the second copy is also defective, you may demand a refund in writing without further opportunities to fix the problem. 1.f.4 Except for the limited right of replacement or refund set forth in paragraph 1.f.3, this work is provided to you as is, with no other warranties of any kind, express or implied, including but not limited to warranties of merchantability or fitness for any purpose. 1.f.5 Some states do not allow disclaimers of certain implied warranties or the exclusion or limitation of certain types of damages. If any disclaimer or limitation set forth in this agreement violates the law of the state applicable to this agreement, the agreement shall be interpreted to make the maximum disclaimer or limitation permitted by the applicable state law. The invalidity or unenforceability of any provision of this agreement shall not void the remaining provisions. 1.f.6 Indemnity. You agree to indemnify and hold the foundation, the trademark owner, any agent or employee of the foundation, anyone providing copies of Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic works in accordance with this agreement, and any volunteers associated with the production, promotion and distribution of Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic works, harmless from all liability, costs and expenses, including legal fees, that arise directly or indirectly from any of the following which you do or cause to occur. A. Distribution of this or any Project Gutenberg trademark symbol work. B. Alteration, modification, or additions or deletions to any Project Gutenberg trademark symbol work, and C. Any defect you cause. Section 2. Information about the mission of Project Gutenberg trademark symbol. Project Gutenberg trademark symbol is synonymous with the free distribution of electronic works in formats readable by the widest variety of computers, including obsolete, old, middle-aged and new computers. It exists because of the efforts of hundreds of volunteers and donations from people in all walks of life. Volunteers and financial support to provide volunteers with the assistance they need are critical to reaching Project Gutenberg trademark symbol's goals and ensuring that the Project Gutenberg trademark symbol collection will remain freely available for generations to come. In 2001, the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation was created to provide a secure and permanent future for Project Gutenberg trademark symbol and future generations. To learn more about the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation and how your efforts and donations can help, see sections 3 and 4 and the Foundation information page at www.gutenberg.org. Section 3. Information about the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation. The Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation is a non-profit 501(c)(3) educational corporation organized under the laws of the state of Mississippi and granted tax-exempt status by the Internal Revenue Service. The foundation's IN or Federal Tax Identification Number is 64-6221541. Contributions to the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation are tax-deductible to the full extent permitted by U.S. federal laws and your state's laws. The Foundation's business office is located at 809 North 1500 West, Salt Lake City, UT 84116, 801-596-1887. Email contact links and up-to-date contact information can be found at the Foundation's website and official page at www.gutenberg.org/contact section 4. Information about donations to the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation. Project Gutenberg trademark symbol depends upon and cannot survive without widespread public support and donations to carry out its mission of increasing the number of public domain and licensed works that can be freely distributed in machine-readable form accessible by the widest array of equipment, including outdated equipment. Many small donations, $1 to $5,000, are particularly important to maintaining tax-exempt status with the IRS. The Foundation is committed to complying with the laws regulating charities and charitable donations in all 50 states of the United States. Compliance requirements are not uniform and it takes a considerable effort, much paperwork and many fees to meet and keep up with these requirements. We do not solicit donations in locations where we have not received written confirmation of compliance. To send donations or determine the status of compliance for any particular state, visit www.gutenberg.org/donate. While we cannot and do not solicit contributions from states where we have not met the solicitation requirements, we know of no prohibition against accepting unsolicited donations from donors in such states who approach us with offers to donate. International donations are gratefully accepted, but we cannot make any statements concerning tax treatment of donations received from outside the United States. U.S. laws alone swamp our small staff. Please check the Project Gutenberg web pages for current donation methods and addresses. Donations are accepted in a number of other ways, including checks, online payments and credit card donations. To donate, please visit www.gutenberg.org/donate. Section 5. General information about Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic works. Professor Michael S. Hart was the originator of the Project Gutenberg trademark symbol concept of a library of electronic works that could be freely shared with anyone. For 40 years, he produced and distributed Project Gutenberg trademark symbol ebooks with only a loose network of volunteer support. Project Gutenberg trademark symbol ebooks are often created from several printed editions, all of which are confirmed as not protected by copyright in the U.S. unless a copyright notice is included. Thus, We do not necessarily keep ebooks in compliance with any particular paper edition. Most people start at our website, which has the main PG search facility, www.gutenberg.org. This website includes information about Project Gutenberg trademark symbol, including how to make donations to the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation, how to help produce our new ebooks, and how to subscribe to our email newsletter to hear about new ebooks.